experiencing or we are witnessing in quite recent times is anything to go by. It tells us that the rains can still come in thick and fast. It can come in heavy magnitude that we even expect. So the past 2 or so days, we've seen some showers here and there. And perhaps you are thinking that, oh, the rains are gone. We are just, seeing some showers and it wouldn't be anything compared to what we witnessed weeks ago. But the good book talks about making hay while the sun shines, putting your stuff together to ensure that the day when the disaster or the catastrophe happens, you don't find yourself wanting. So weeks ago, the president called us to duty to ensure that we clean our surroundings so that we don't find ourselves wanting in these times. When there is flooding, we make sure that our gutters are unclogged or desilted and what have you, so that there's a free flow of water. We don't find water floods our communities and what have you. But I'm just asking the question this morning that how do we sustain the gains? There have been the directive by the Greater Accra Regional Minister to the various MMDAs to ensure that they continue in this regard. Situations or periodic, cleanups within our communities is very important. How have we been able to monitor or measure progress so far as the cleanup exercise that we did is concerned? This morning, briefly, I'm just here to tell you that, look, the signs that we are witnessing now should tell you one thing, that the rain can come in at any time. We're talking about climate change. The climate is changed. It isn't the usual June, July rains that you used to have. Someone was telling me yesterday, I think Amia was telling me yesterday that, Charles, did you notice that the rain started as early as February thereabout, January, February thereabout? The rains that we've been witnessing in recent times are not the normal ones that you used to know that, usually around June, July, the rains will come in and so let me prepare myself. No. Now the rain comes in unawares. It takes us unawares. It doesn't tell us anything. Before you realize, the rain just comes in. There was a time we saw nothing, or personally, I saw nothing from where I was living. I saw no signs in the clouds. The clouds were not heavy. Before we could say Jack, it was already raining, and it rained cats and dogs. It rained heavily. And so you see, the point is that no one knows when the rain is going to come in heavy. No one knows when the rain is going to come in heavy. Just as no one knows when, the second coming of our Savior Jesus is going to be. And so you are urged that you should be in waiting. You should always prepare. It is the same way I want to urge you this morning that you need to prepare. Anything can happen. The rains can come in at any time. So you see your frontage, the gutter there, it is choked. The water is not flowing and you know it yourself. You don't have to wait for government to come and tell you to clean your gutter. You can do it by yourself because you know what? It is about your safety. If you don't clean that gutter and it overflows or it gets full or it's unable to contain the volume of water that would come as a result of the rain someday, you find yourself wanting. You don't go back and blame government. Government has done its bit. Now I find quite a number of, cleanup exercise within the capital. And I want to say kudos to those guys along so if you are from 37 going to the Accra Mall area, we have the airport first and then there's airport second. So that's from airport second towards the Polo Junction, the Polo Club Junction, the junction that goes to the Polo Club area. I find these guys, open the drains and unclogging them. And they make sure that when they are done, they carry the debris, the sand or the waste that they've taken out of these gutters, they cut them to certain locations. I pray that they're able to finish it and finish it very well. I don't know what constituency that is. Someone can help me with that. But I think this is what we should be doing all the time. And I want to believe that they are under the supervision of the MMDA or something. So if the MMDA is doing that thing, kudos to the MMDA. The other MMDAs should also follow suit to ensure that we are not caught unawares because the rains can come in at any time. That's briefly on the situation or the issue to do with our surroundings and keeping them clean. The other thing I'm going to talk about is something that you and I perhaps we've monitored on our roads, and it's got to do with vehicles emitting large balls of smoke and what have you. Sometimes you find yourself in a car and the car ahead of you is emitting smoke and you find yourself covering your nose. Yes, I'm sure a lot of us have been in that situation before. So you take up your handkerchief and then you cover your nose because it is deadly, it is toxic for you to inhale that smoke that is coming from the vehicle ahead of you. So the question I keep asking myself is, why do we have all these vehicles on our roads? Vehicles that are 10 years, 20 years, their engines have not been changed. What they've done is to do overhauling over the period, and people are still using them and they are emitting thick balls of smoke. And when you get to our market centers, and a lot of these market centers have taxi ranks or lorry stations even within them, they emit this smoke. And there's some eatery around the place. There's a restaurant there. There's somebody who is selling some meat pie. There's somebody who is selling some pastries. And then the smoke lands on all of these stuff. You go and buy them and then you eat. We inhale all of this. Once upon a time, there was a survey that was conducted and it described Ghana as one of the most polluted. Which the countries which air is most polluted globally? So I was asking myself the question, how do we check some of these things? The vehicle is just moving. You find MTTD around and, they just move like that. And they are emitting thick black ball of smoke from the car. And it spreads, it diffuses all around the place. And no one is saying anything about anything. So I was doing a bit of digging as far as this issue is concerned. And here's the thing. Ghana's national laws broadly restrict vehicle smoke pollution, though enforcement has historically relied on general nuisance rules rather than strict mandatory tailpipe testing. Okay, so existing rules and nuisance laws. 1974 MTTU Act historically states that no vehicle or person shall emit smoke into the environment to the annoyance of passengers or the public. To the annoyance of passengers or the public. To the annoyance of passengers or the public. Okay? But you find yourself in a vehicle and the vehicle ahead of you is emitting thick ball of smoke. It annoys you. You can't say anything about it. You can't do anything about it because the vehicle ahead of you is in motion. And even if it stops and you approach the driver, there is nothing that you can do about it. You can't do anything. Okay. Now, general roadworthiness. While the driver and vehicle licensing authority checks vehicles, complete mandatory digital or numerical emission caps have faced gaps in routine road testing. And that's the issue. An Emissions Levy Act 2023, Act 1112, imposes a tax on carbon dioxide equivalent emissions from combustion engines to promote a greener economy. Okay. Now, health, environmental concerns. Air quality. Thick exhaust fumes contain harmful soot and cancer-causing agents that worsen urban air pollution. So you see,